Hi, welcome. It's good to be here. I wonder how many of you viewing this may be reeling from hearing or seeing recent news stories in the last couple of days, weeks, or months. Stories that might be upsetting, possibly even triggering previous traumatic experiences. My purpose for being here today is to bring in a reminder that there's more to us than our upsets and our anticipated fears. That there's an opportunity to be present now. Pausing and checking in with what's here now can be the beginning, the opening into the next phase, and the next phase of setting an intention of turning toward an internal sense of basic goodness and kindness, and then pulling it outward into the world in a way that can be useful. But first, it can be almost imperative to check in with what's here now and developing a sense of the ability to tolerate and be with the present moment experience. The invitation now then is to settle in and finding a comfortable seated position or any position that tends to offer some support to the body. Closing the eyes if that's safe and if that seems to be comfortable. Simply settling in, maybe even whispering to yourself out loud slightly. What's right here? Simply checking in with that question. What's right here? Repeating it periodically. Each time, just going inward, just a little finer, a little deeper. What's right here? Possibly checking in with the sensation of sight in response to the question, what's right here? Maybe there's darkness if their eyes are closed, and even within the darkness there may be flashes of light and shadow, etc. Investigating what's right here in relationship to sight. And exploring what's right here through the other of the five senses. Checking in with hearing, with sound. Maybe not just the sound of my voice, but other sounds that are present. In releasing saying what's right here to simply saying it internally, silently. Exploring vision and sound. Hearing. Maybe internal sounds, maybe external sounds. Simply noticing that there's a body, and the body is hearing. Moving on through the senses of checking in with the sense of touch, the sensation of sitting, maybe the sensation of clothing on the skin. Any other touch sensations that come into awareness. and drawing awareness to the sensations of smell and taste. They often combine with each other. Continuing to ask, what's right here? To go even deeper still, moving into the internal workings of the body, noticing the felt sense within the body. Simply noticing whatever's present without trying to change it, with a gentle reminder that if it becomes too uncomfortable, if there's some aspect of the body and discomfort or pain, and an adjustment can be useful, to give the body what it needs in this moment. Maybe simply shifting positions or opening the eyes or some other adjustment. Continuing to investigate what's right here. Maybe thoughts are coming into awareness, interfering with something, distracting from an awareness of what's right here. Noticing that also. Checking in with the muscles throughout the body. Maybe there's some tension, some tightness, or tingling, or numbness. Opening also possibility of a lack of awareness of what's right here. So continuing on with this practice, the invitation is to remind yourself to be kind and gentle, not only with your body, but with your inner self. Investigating that somewhere there's a knower, some aspect of you knowing what's right here. Investigating how that knowing comes into awareness. If at any moment through this practice you sense an awareness of overwhelm or too much difficulty, to pause from the pause, checking in with difficult versus overwhelm. Skillfully moving back and forth. The invitation now, if it feels right, to continue on and release awareness of the body itself and direct awareness to a memory of a recent event and recent story, some other element within your life that has been creating some upset, some difficulty. Checking in with the various emotions that might have been present or might be present now as you recall the event. It could be a news story, it could be something going on within your personal life, within your community, within your neighborhood. Whatever feels right to bring into awareness. Not the easiest, maybe not the most difficult. But on a scale of 10, one that might bring in a level of difficulty around a 6 or a 7 or an 8. Oftentimes it can be useful to identify and name an emotion that is showing up. It might be a familiar one. Maybe the the event, the story, the happening might be invoking strong emotions such as outrage or anger or a deep sadness or hopelessness or helplessness, maybe even a sense of numbness. Whatever's showing up, the invitation now is to direct a gentle awareness and attention to it, investigating the emotion, the sensations that come with the emotion. Where in the body might it be residing? Directing awareness using, accessing all the senses, the felt senses, the other five senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, taste, but also the sensations within the muscles and the internal workings of the body. As you bring into detail this event, the memories of it, without spending a lot of time with the thoughts around it, turning toward the emotions and the body sensations that show up when it's considered. Certain areas of the body are well known to hold and carry these types of strong emotions. Maybe the chest, maybe the gut, the abdomen, the shoulders, maybe even clenching in the jaw. Maybe a little bit of all of that. Gradually investigating throughout the body where this strong emotion tends to reside the most strongly. Without trying to change it, simply leaning in, noticing it, noticing the qualities of it. Does it have a size? Does it have shape? Does it have well-defined edges, or does it tend to be a little bit fuzzy, out of focus? How about the quality of weight? Does it have height, and depth, and width? If it had a temperature, is there a temperature that you might be able to name for yourself? Cold, lukewarm, hot, some variation in between. And if the sensation with the emotions had sound, would it be high-pitched, low-pitched, droning? What type of sound does it make? As you continue to sit with this emotion and sensations, where it resides in the body, sensing where it ends and where it begins. Like waves on a shore, where does the water end and the shore begin? It could be something similar with our emotions and sensations. Finding the edge. What is it containing? What does it keep out? Is there a familiarity to this sensation and emotion? Has it been experienced or something similar experienced in the past? If not, if it's new and novel, what about this enters awareness as a new experience? If it is familiar, investigating that also. Maybe allowing the thoughts and the memories to go back in time to other times of life where a similar thought and emotion and body sensation has been present. Have these sensations and emotions been useful in the past? Have there been times in the past where they weren't as useful as you would have liked? Continuing to investigate the sensation and emotions present in the body in relationship to a memory of the recalled event. What else might be present with this sensation and emotions? Investigating if there's other emotions present also. Oftentimes, some of our strong emotions, such as anger and outrage, bring along with them other emotions like contempt or resentment. And a deeper, finer exploration starts to reveal that there's something under that also. That anger and outrage, resentment, contempt might be a secondary emotion. There's something under it, supporting it. What would be the role of these strong emotions? Do they have a job? If they weren't present, what would replace them? What shows up simply with this sort of inquiry, investigating what might replace anger or outrage or contempt or any of the other emotions that might have been present? Is there a sense of relief, release, resistance? What's showing up investigating the emotions and body sensations? Maybe thoughts are coming into awareness, distracting from the experience of emotions and sensations. Noticing that also, possibly expressing gratitude to the thoughts for showing up, allowing them to go on by like clouds in the sky, and coming back to the awareness of sensations and body and emotions. Maybe thoughts are coming in a little more aggressively than clouds. Maybe it might be like a torrent in a stream. Allowing it to rush by, noticing that the emotions and sensations can still be leaned into and investigated. Continuing to sit with the sensations and the emotions in relationship to this recalled event. If they had a story to tell you about you, what might that story be? Sometimes it could be useful to give the body a gentle touch, maybe a hand on the chest, maybe some other soothing touch, naming your experience. Maybe there's not a direct name for the emotion. Is it comfortable or uncomfortable? Is it easy or difficult? Simply naming that. This is difficult. This is part of being human. Others experience this also. May I allow this to be present on my heart with love and kindness, with an openness and curiosity, and a willingness to be with what is. Maybe continuing to recite that passage for as long as it might feel useful, or periodically. This is difficult. This is outrage. This is sadness. Whatever it might be, this is part of being human. Others experience this also. May I allow this to be present on my heart with openness and curiosity and a willingness to be with what is. Continuing to breathe, noticing whatever's present, changes, maybe sensations are coming and going, emotions are shifting, thoughts are coming and going. Simply investigating. The invitation now is to possibly engage with an inner form of questioning, of inquiry. Asking yourself, imagining part of you, the observer part, stepping away slightly, looking back at the emotions and sensations and thoughts, and seeing if there's a story that they have to tell. What are they needing from you? If it's your emotions and your thoughts and your body sensations, what are they telling you? What are they needing from you? If there's no answer, what shows up with that also? Maybe frustration, maybe more questioning. Continuing to sit, noticing. No matter what shows up, this is part of being human. May I allow this to be present here also, on my heart, with loving kindness, and an openness and curiosity, and a willingness to be with what is. Continuing to investigate and ask, what does this mean to me? What story do these emotions and sensations and thoughts have for me? Is it a familiar story? Is it one that is calling for action? Is there anything that I can do? Continuing to check back in with the recalled event and emotions and sensations that arrive. Has the sensations changed? Are they the same? Continuing to investigate, holding an awareness of the emotions and sensations. Identifying the underlying emotions that might be present with the original outrage or anger or sadness or helplessness or hopelessness. Recognizing also that the emotions, the sensations, the thoughts belong to you. They're your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, and yet you're also aware of them. That there's a wise observer there's a wisdom that starts to develop, starts to emerge as you lean in and investigate the thoughts, the emotions, and body sensations. Holding all of this into awareness, continuing to ask, how might this awareness be useful as I move forward from this moment? What's being called for now, in this moment? What stays behind as this practice nears an end? What goes forward with you? The eyes are open. The invitation now is to possibly close them or keeping them open, allowing the gaze to soften as you contemplate and hear this passage. Why be unhappy about something if it can be remedied? What is the use of being upset by something if it cannot be remedied? Continuing to sit with this. Why be unhappy about something if it can be remedied? Is it possible that a simple question like this can invite pause and an opportunity to check in with what's being called for? And how do I bring it forward? What gets in the way? What's supportive? What can be useful bringing something forward to remedy what's here now? But oftentimes, what's here now doesn't need a remedy, or there is no remedy. So the second question, what is the use of being upset by something if it cannot be remedied? Exploring with a wise mind, with an openness, a curiosity, the possibility that solutions aren't available, that things have to play out in their own time, might be out of a sense of control. Checking in with that also. Now, this is an exploration of acceptance, of equanimity. And certainly asking those two questions of the self can be useful. There's other offerings, some are more familiar. The possibility of, for instance, the Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In this practice, we've explored 3 different skills that can be useful for leaning into acceptance and equanimity. The first one was the practice of simply naming what's present. This is hard. This is sadness. This is anger. This is part of being human. Others experience this also. May I allow this to be present on my heart with love and kindness, with an openness and curiosity, and a willingness to be with what is. The second skill is the reminder, asking yourself the questions, why be unhappy about something if it can be remedied? And then the second question, what is the use of being upset by something if it cannot be remedied? Investigating the logic and the essence of those two questions, along with the emotions and sensations that show up with them. And then the third is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So the invitation is to settle in, taking a couple deep breaths, noticing the body breathing. And when ready, with awareness, if the eyes are closed, maybe inviting movement into the eyelids and gently opening the eyes, the awareness of light coming in. But but also inviting movement into the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and the hands, wiggling the toes, moving the feet. So if you find any of the three skills to be useful, or this practice to be useful, I invite you to check in with the channel periodically for future practices. But also check in the description down below for the Serenity Prayer, or the questions around acceptance, or simply the passage of, may I allow this to be here. So may we all continue to experience joy and the roots of joy. May we experience equanimity, balance, and peace. May all beings find relief from their pain and suffering and live with ease.